Welcome back. June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. According to the Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Violence Solutions, Louisiana is among the states with the highest gun death rates in the country, and firearms were the leading cause of death among children in 2023. We spoke with Dr. Katherine Hoops about the ways you can keep firearms out of the wrong hands.
Can we talk about an overview, a good reminder of what people who own guns can do just to keep them out of the hands of people who should not have them?
So I think the most important thing for everyone to know, gun owners and non-gun owners alike, is that secure storage of firearms is life-saving. So secure storage means keeping all firearms stored unloaded and locked up so that they're inaccessible to people who shouldn't have access to them. So I'm a critical care pediatrician, and unfortunately, I see the consequences of unsecured firearms all too frequently. And secure storage really acts to prevent people who shouldn't have access to firearms from getting access to them.
Here in New Orleans, unfortunately, especially during the summer months, we do see kids getting a hold of firearms they should not have, and tragic, tragic consequences as a result. How can you talk about how storing things safely, just make sure that this does not happen at all?
Yeah. And I think, the experience that y'all have had locally is true in communities across the country. And secure storage acts by putting barriers in place or just putting time and space in between vulnerable people and access to highly lethal means, right? So something as simple as a cable lock, for example, right, can prevent someone who doesn't have the key to the lock from gaining access to a firearm. But you can still implement secure storage in the home and have firearms for personal protection, for home defense. For example, with a biometric safe, right, that can be accessed in seconds. Right, so secure storage puts barriers in place so that people who shouldn't have access to firearms can't access them, right? Like the curious toddler exploring the nightstand wouldn't be able to access a firearm in a safe like this.
If you are someone who does not have a gun in your home, is there a way that you can help promote safe gun storage? And this is kind of a twofold question here. If your child is going over to the home of someone who maybe has a gun and it makes you nervous, how do you have that conversation with that parent to make sure that the guns are all locked up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone has a role in the prevention of firearm injuries and in encouraging secure storage. So for people who don't have firearms in the home, advocating for secure storage laws is certainly one way of getting involved, but you don't have to get political. Just having a conversation with a neighbor or a family member or a child's friend's parents right before a play date, like you suggested. As parents, the same way that we talk about our kids' allergies and the availability of allergy-free snacks before your child goes on a play date, you can talk about whether or not there are firearms in the home, and if so, how they're stored. And that can be a great opportunity to share information and resources about secure storage, and also just have a better understanding of the environment that your child is playing in or visiting over the summer. Maybe that's a relative's home too. I think all of these things are really important, and encouraging these conversations help to move us toward a place where this is just a part of being a responsible gun owner, and it's just part of what we do. I think one more thing to highlight is that there's a lot of great information on our website, including tips for starting these conversations with neighbors or friends, for example, around play dates. So you can visit our website to learn more at everyguneverytime.org.
Now, for tips on how to have these conversations and a whole toolkit on how to best store guns at home, you can go to everyguneverytime.org.